I'm David Tung. So I'm a GKO1 alumnus, and I'm working in the art industry for over 20 years, specifically here in mainland China, and promoting and developing contemporary artists, specifically in this region, and also bringing them to a global audience. So I think we're so much invested in the idea of investment. Is there kind of return on the art? Is there the market? But I think those are other questions that we need to ask. They're not the fundamental questions, right? The fundamental question is like, how do you engage with the world that is around you? How do the other people that you know, or your business partners or their business partners engage with that world? And also the terms of our lifestyle, the terms of what we do for leisure has also changed quite a lot over the past 20 years as well. There's a very different kind of change there, and I think we as kind of the business leaders of China also need to present ourselves and also understand how different business leaders globally also engage with the world. And art is one of those aspects which is very, very important, right? It goes beyond culture, and that kind of dialogue, that kind of communication. It's about that understanding of how people perceive the world. And when you have those dialogues, you get to know people more, and you get to know people better. You don't need to know and devote a lot of time and energy to it, but it is part of being a global citizen and part of being someone who can engage with the world in different ways. I think a lot of people speak about how AI is going to impact every industry, including arts. My statement also is very much that AI has already been impacting what we do and how we see things. So we're actually entering into a very, I think, kind of homogenous kind of world that's based not on our experiences, but really what AI has been instituting and feeding us to see. I think this has a tremendous impact on the art world, because when we look at young artists, when we look at the current art production as well, there's no real kind of statement, there's no real kind of position from each artist that identifies them as uniquely, because we're all reading and we're all looking at the same material, and we're all trying to translate that in a way. So I think artists themselves, that kind of randomness, that kind of unforeseen or serendipitous kind of encounters, are really kind of go into the fundamental event, and that changes how we view the world, that changes the experience of it. And so when we go into art exhibitions, that there's an opportunity to see the world in different ways, aside from what we see on Instagram, and even challenge us to say, hey, there's different ways of looking at the world. So going back to your question about digitalization, it's an amazing tool for reaching markets. It's an amazing tool for engaging with audiences, but it doesn't replace the experience. I realized after working in the art industry for over 10 years that I needed some kind of grounding in business understanding. You need to be prepared, and you need to make sure that your decision-making is sound, or at least you have the right kind of support and the right kind of people around you where you can always tap into and make sure that you get the feedback you need. Fortunately, at that time, I was looking at, of course, Guanghua, very, very first class. I thought, this is something I cannot miss, and having the opportunity to both be with one of the leading institution in China, with Guanghua, and also an amazing school like Kellogg, and also just being able to see the market a little bit more clearly, although I've been living in China for a long time, to be able to understand how other business leaders think, to understand how governments think in China, and how that impacts and plays into every industry, has been very vital for me to understand what are the next steps and what are the future possibilities for the business here. I think it's an amazing opportunity. It's an amazing experience, and I think it's a challenging one, but it drives you to really be better.